Love a little jazz piano on a rainy Tuesday, don't you, Ed?
Gotta love the jazz piano.
All right. Thank you for tuning in today. You're listening to WZNC LP Bethlehem, North Country Community Radio at 99.9 FM, streaming online at nococommunityradio.org. My name's Amanda McKeen. You're listening to North of Normal. We're on every Tuesday from 10 to noon, and from 10 to 11, I have on a different guest every week who is in the community, in our region, making an impact in some way, and they usually have some very unique stories to share. And today's guest is Ed King, and Ed King is the general manager of the Littleton Food Co-op, which is right across the road from our studio.
Right across the road.
Yeah. And Ed, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I've been here before, and it's my first time talking with you, and I'm really looking forward to the Ed, Amanda experience here.
The Amanda experience. I love it. You had actually... How long ago was it? A couple weeks that we met for the first time?
Yes.
Yeah. Not very long that we've known each other.
No, but your reputation precedes you, so.
Oh. Well, that's interesting because reputation is my industry.
Exactly.
So, Ed, we've got a whole hour ahead of us, and I know it's going to race on by, but one of the reasons why I have my guests on here is to highlight the amazing human side of all of us and kind of highlight where we came from and how we ended up here in the North Country. I would love for you to share that story with our listeners today to kick us off.
All right. Do you have to go back to like my birth,
Yes.
Original? Okay. So I grew up in western Massachusetts in a town called Agawam, and when I was a teenager, my family moved to the Hanover area, Hanover, New Hampshire, and a little bit of a culture shock moving away from all my friends, but I understand why we moved. Every time I go back to the western Mass, it's just a different lifestyle. I mean, I definitely love New Hampshire. A little more laid back, a little more quality of life here, I think, than you might have in western Massachusetts. But and I've been working in my industry, the grocery industry, for 40-something years now. So I came to this area when the company I was working for opened a store in Lincoln.
Okay.
And I moved to Littleton to be close enough to work in that store. So that was my introduction to the White Mountains. I was a hiker. My roommate was a hiker.
Nice.
And we jumped at the opportunity to be located in the western White Mountains here. So
yeah.
And I've never left the area. I just raised my family and really enjoyed every minute here in the greater Littleton area. I've lived in Franconia and Bethlehem,
okay.
But Littleton is kind of home base.
Yeah. Okay, so years of being in grocery stores. How old were you when you first started working in a grocery store?
Literally on my 16th birthday. I mean, I walked in. I was across the street from a grocery store, and I walked in the day before my birthday and said, I knew that they didn't hire till you were 16.
Okay.
I asked them if they had any openings, and they said, we sure do. And he said, are you 16? And I said, I will be tomorrow. He said, well, you can start tomorrow then.
Oh, my goodness. You worked on your birthday?
I worked on my birthday. But it was, introduction to the business world, which, I've stuck with. And nobody goes into the grocery business thinking it's a career, but
yeah.
You get into it and you enjoy the camaraderie, you enjoy the atmosphere. I think grocery stores are an integral part of a community in so many ways. Everybody shops, everyone needs to eat.
Yes.
So you see everybody in town and they get to know you. And, whatever community I've worked in, I've always felt like an important part of the community.
Because you see literally everybody.
Literally everybody.
Yeah.
And people will see me outside the co-op or outside wherever I worked, and say, I know you, but I don't know from where. But
you were out of context.
I was out of context, whether it's a restaurant or a concert or something.
Yeah.
But over time, I think I've established myself in Littleton at the co-op, so I think everybody knows who I am outside of the...
They do.
Out of context.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe I wouldn't have if I had... Well, I mean, you're wearing all kinds of co-op gear today. I don't know if you normally wear all this stuff.
I'm usually well-branded. You know? I mean, we we hand out a lot of swag over the years to our employees.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of a corny Christmas present to get a fleece or a hoodie with a co-op logo all over it, but it's appreciated, I think. And
I don't think that's corny at all.
People like, I'm sure you have plenty of North Country radio gear.
I am starting to collect some, but it's definitely a thing up here to get sweaters and stuff at Christmas time from the companies.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyways, when you started at the grocery store when you were 16, were you bagging groceries?
I was bagging groceries. I was filling the milk. It was an old store with a cellar. I mean, oh my gosh, I don't miss those days of...
What was in the cellar?
There was all sorts of backstock. So when you filled the milk, you had to go downstairs, throw this milk on a conveyor belt, and follow it up and unload it at the top of the conveyor belt.
Wow.
It was really inefficient system, but yeah, that's going back a ways.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
But I'd never want a basement in a grocery store ever again.
No.
So inefficient, but it was a great introduction. It was a good first job, and I kind of quickly went up the ranks. You know, by the time I was 20, I was the assistant manager of a store in the chain, and in their management program. Cornell University has a grocery management program, which I went through, and
wow,
it really had that base of context and a good base to build on. And I've changed, chains a couple of times, but moving to the co-op's definitely been the best move I ever made. Honestly, corporate grocery is getting more and more challenging as an employee, even as shoppers. I think people recognize that, the shopping experience has gotten less and less fun.
Oh, let's talk about that, because I've already had these discussions with people in the community about the stark difference between walking into Shaw's here and walking into the co-op. Just the light and the energy that radiates from the co-op employees, and I'm not just saying this, it's really true. When you go in there, you feel like you're part of something special, and people are happy to be there, and they enjoy their work.
Yeah, that's a common compliment we receive. It's a great atmosphere. The employees are happy, which I don't know if you go into any retail outlets, people just don't look happy.
They're not happy.
Not happy to be there. It's a job, and I think there's a social aspect to co-ops. Whether you're a customer or a worker, there's a positive attitude, positive energy. Yeah. And, we have free coffee. I think that makes the difference.
It's free?
To the employees.
Oh.
So the employees are all fully caffeinated during their shift. So
maybe so it's in the coffee. Is that what you're saying?
There's a secret ingredient we add. I'm not allowed to divulge that specific ingredient. But
okay. Well, now I want a taste of that coffee. But seriously, though, what is ingrained in the company ethos that is so visible to the community? Co-ops
have 7 principles. Don't ask me to name them, but we are independent. We're not governed by some corporation in Minneapolis or Cincinnati. We're definitely governed by the people, our board of directors, which is customers that were elected to our board of directors. So they very much have the best interest of the consumers, the membership of the co-op in mind in every decision they make. The profits don't leave; they're given back to the membership. So there isn't this one of my favorite analogies is what I worked for Shaw's. So full disclosure,
you did.
So there would be a Wells Fargo truck that would show up daily, and they would drop off some change but pick up the cash, and then they'd hop on 93 South, and that money wouldn't return. That money was gone to corporate headquarters, never to be seen again. But co-ops have this magnifying effect on the local funds. We're buying local goods, we're paying living wages, we're donating to the community. So the money that you hand over at the register at the co-op or buy your food with stays in the community, whether it's with farmers, employees, or what have you. It's not leaving the community. So there's an economic multiplier effect that co-ops generate more income for the community and kind of an economic engine.
Okay. So besides that, there's lots of other, we're a democratic controlled, so that's important. We care about our community, care about the environment. Our co-ops worked hard at kind of reducing our carbon footprint. We have a solar array. We've added doors to a lot of our cases to make our store more efficient. We have LED. You talked about the lighting of the co-op. We spent a lot of time and effort making sure we had the right color light. And it's all LED lights, so it has the fraction of the electricity needs as fluorescent lights. And I'm sitting here with these terrible fluorescent lights in your studio. It's awful. The lighting here is terrible. Good thing it's radio and not TV. Well, we're moving to Main Street, so
that is exciting.
These are going away, which is great.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah. I've told previous guests that have come in here, these lights are so bad that you feel like you're having a good hair day or a good, face day. You come in here and you take a selfie and you look like an ogre.
I see what you're talking about. We actually brought in a lighting designer, and
that's awesome.
And we do something called product lighting.
Yeah.
Where the lights are down at the product level, not in the ceiling, where you'd have to spend all this money to get the light down to the product. So it's little things like that, little touches that make the shopping experience more pleasurable, and it's important.
So besides the hidden ingredient in the coffee, why are the employees so happy to be there?
Well, I think part of it goes back to the hiring process. We said this early on when we opened, 17 and a half years ago, is, I can train somebody to stock shelves or run a register, but I can't train them to be a happy person.
Right.
And, that sometimes when labor is tight, you kind of feel the need to hire just anybody, but why would you want to hire a grumpy person? So we kind of look for that spark, that smile, that interaction from when we're in the interview process.
Okay.
Before they're even hired, we try and bring in somebody that has that positive attitude, and because that's hard to teach. You can't say, okay, you're going to have to work on your personality and attitude today. That's not something that's very teachable, but usually by the time they're applying for a job, their personality is set in stone almost. So you kind of go out there and hire happy people.
Yeah.
And if you hire happy people, their friends want to work with them. So the happy people join the happy people.
I love that.
I do think that there's a positive atmosphere intentionally, and it starts at the hiring process, starts in the onboarding. A lot of people show up and say, okay, start bagging groceries. And we actually spend, about 16 hours, 2 full shifts of telling them what co-ops are about. Here's your job description, here's your employee manual, here's, your rights and your, introduce them to their new career, not just, throw them into the fire and let them sink or swim, That's really good. So it's intentional every step along the way. And I do think that, with our growth, we've had opportunity for advancement. So a lot of people see that it's not a dead-end job if I stick with it and I'm a hard worker, that I can be a department manager or move on into a better paying position. So a lot of people there are career minded. And we do also have great benefits. In a typical retail situation, about 2/3 of the people will be part-time and 1/3 will be full-time.
Okay.
And we've kind of flipped that, so 2/3 of our employees are full-time.
Nice.
And 1/3 are part-time. And when you have somebody that's working 40 hours and making a decent wage and has what I seem to think is an excellent benefits package, they're committed. I mean, there's more commitment. We're committed to them.
Yeah.
And that kind of helps with the positive atmosphere, for sure.
Where did you learn all this, Ed? Did you learn it from your Cornell course?
Well, I think actually, very little of that was in the Cornell course. It was a very nuts and bolts course. But I think we all want to be treated well. I mean, we've all been employees. We've come through the ranks. We've had good managers. We've had bad managers.
Yeah.
We've been in excellent organizations and some challenged organizations. I knew that as a manager, we wanted to have that positive attitude from day one. Like I said, when we hired our original 40 employees, that was a key ingredient for everybody. And it was a great team at the beginning, and that was probably the key to our success. And now we have 107 employees.
Wow.
So it's... People think, how do you get 107 people in that building?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
It's there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. There's a lot of... We prepare a lot of the foods in our store. Our fresh meat and seafood cases take a lot of labor. And we're not sending off work, so like marketing, it's all in-house. Our finances are all in-house. There's a lot of... We have probably one of the cleanest supermarkets I've ever worked in. And that takes some extra effort, to keep those standards high, whether it's product or the presentation and the cleanliness of the store. So I think investing in our people kind of helps generate that positive atmosphere for both employees and our shoppers.
That's awesome. I hope other businesses are taking notes.
I think you're seeing it more and more. I mean, Main Street Littleton does an excellent job. There's some great businesses in town that are great examples of how to run a business. But I think a lot of that has been lost on corporate America. Mm-hmm. For sure.
Okay. You kind of... I don't remember if you mentioned this, but... Did you talk about growing up with siblings or anything?
Well, I am the oldest of 8 kids, so...
8?
8 kids, yeah.
That's a full house.
It's a full house. Definitely, the dinner table was, kind of like a feeding frenzy of sorts. So you ate quickly or you didn't eat at all.
Yeah.
But I think that kind of helped with management skills. I mean... I've kind of managed people my entire life, whether it's a sibling or people that were, working with me or for me. So I think you develop a lot of interpersonal skills in a family. And you also deal with people at their level. HR will tell you have to treat everybody the same. But I strongly believe that when you're motivating people, different people have different motivations. And you have to find that motivation point when you're trying to motivate people.
Yes.
And you can't treat everybody the same. It can't be cookie cutter. If so many people, some people are motivated financially. Some it's the interpersonal experience. There's some of it's environmental. So you have to treat people at the level that they will thrive in. Mm-hmm. So finding that level is one of the keys, I think, in being a good manager of people.
So you were the oldest of 8. Did your parents have much influence over how you interact with people?
I will say that it was a hectic situation, and I was the oldest, so I I think that, so I was the first one in the family that was independent. And I think, I love both of them are passed on, but they were very unique people in their own right. And I loved my father to death. I think my father taught me a lot about working with people and being that team player and things like that. So, yeah, I would say my father had a real impact on my life, and I'm a dead ringer for my father. So
yeah,
it's like knowing what you're going to look like in 20 years is almost a scary thing sometimes.
Oh.
But it's worked for me, I think. But I've had a lot of mentors over the years that have kind of worked with me. Close friends, siblings. Your sibling relationships, I think, always impact how you turn out and how you deal with the challenges of 5 brothers and 2 sisters.
Oh, only 2 sisters?
Only 2 sisters.
Wow, that's a lot of boys.
But ironically, I'm close to my sisters, I will say that.
Yeah.
I think there's something about brothers that there was always this butting of heads with your brothers, especially if you're the oldest. You've got to keep the younger guys in line somewhat. But, you always have that protection, that need to be the protector with your little sisters.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that lives on today. I'm very close with my sisters.
That's nice. What did your dad do for work?
So being part of a big family and a very probably lower middle income household, he had lots of jobs, but his primary job was he worked for the phone company.
Okay.
He worked in a variety of different jobs within the phone company, but whether it's installing phones or out on the lines, or he worked in the office in different capacities. But he was a lifelong phone company guy.
Phone company.
From Ma Bell to AT&T to Verizon. I mean, he kind of lived through all of that, and it's ironic, I never had any interest in the mechanics of phones. So for whatever reason, I think it's probably because it kept him away from us so much, I mean, so, but he always had these part-time jobs to kind of make ends meet, whether it was, he worked installing hitches for people that were buying RVs and repairing RVs.
That's random.
A very random, specialized job.
Yeah.
But and he worked a little bit in the grocery business too, part-time. So I remember spending some time with him in one of his businesses, running a small convenience store at night. So that was probably one of my introductions to the grocery world.
Okay.
Doing those little odd jobs around with him.
Yep. Awesome. So when you and I sat down a couple weeks ago, I told you, I was like, Ed, I already know who you are. I've known about you for the last several years I've lived here in Littleton, and I was just thinking, someday our paths are going to cross, and I wonder what that's going to look like. And I had been contacted by Becky Colpitts, who, what is her title at the co-op?
She's our community relations. She wears a lot of hats.
Yeah, she does wear a lot of hats.
I always get her title wrong. I'm a bad boss in that sense. But she's our member coordinator and community relations.
Yeah, she's awesome. What a lovely lady.
She lives and breathes co-ops, and she cares so much about the community.
She does.
And I think we wanted to do a push in October to make people aware of what's happening in our food system. So
let's talk about that.
Can we talk about that?
Yes.
So, as we all know, a lot of fundings have dried up from the federal government, and it's a challenge for lots of programs that serve the people most in need in our communities. And one of the programs that's been hugely successful for our co-op is something called Market Match, where people that are SNAP eligible shoppers can get half-price fresh vegetables if they're a SNAP customer. And
produce or just vegetables?
Just fresh fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
There are actually some other items that are eligible now, like some beans and other proteins, but for the most part, fresh fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
But SNAP customers have always struggled with nutrition because they tend to eat cheaper processed foods.
Yep.
And their percentage of fresh fruits and vegetables was lower than other customers. And we actually were a pilot program almost a decade ago with this Market Match program, and we tracked what our SNAP customers were buying, not individually, but as a group. And they were only spending like 13% of their food dollars on fresh fruits and vegetables. And then the average in our store is like 17%. So we put this program in place, promoted it widely, and let people know you can get half-price fruits and vegetables at the co-op if you're a SNAP customer. And the impact was immediate. Our fear was, and the fear of, the funders was, all right, they would save money on their produce and buy more junk food.
Yeah.
But they just bought a lot more produce. So their percentage of produce or fresh produce went from 13% of their cart to 27% of their cart.
Which is higher than
normal customers.
Yeah.
They were buying more fruits and vegetables, fresh fruits and vegetables at the co-op because of this program. So I have to believe that the impacts nutritionally were immense. It's hard for us to measure that specifically, but their shopping patterns changed. The nutrition for the kids and the young families that were on SNAP improved immensely. So I would have to say that this program's been a huge success, and it's grown, it's thrived. So,
when did it start?
I want to say it started in probably 2016.
Oh, it's been around a while.
It's been around a while. There's been a pretty steady increase in funding available, and we use a pass-through organization. New Hampshire Food Bank is our sponsor of this program, and they're a great partner, by the way. I mean, all the work that they do with local pantries is incredible. But this was a program that we spearheaded, and I dare say we're one of the most successful Market Match stores in the state. So it's been growing. I mean, it probably started at, $10,000 a year. Mm-hmm. And last year it was over $70,000 worth of free fruits and vegetables. That was just the match.
Wow.
So for every dollar, it's basically giving them half price. So it accounted for $140,000 worth of produce sales.
Wow.
That went to our SNAP customers, which was just, a quantum leap as far as their nutrition. So that was so important, and it really fit our mission of being a provider of fresh fruits and vegetables to everybody, not just the farmers market crowd. All customers would have this opportunity to take advantage of all the local and fresh foods that we have in our co-op. So the growth was exponential, and now we've got this budget for this fiscal year, and having done $70,000 worth of giveaways last year, our budget is cut to $40,000 for this year. So what do we do? Do we limit it? Do we let it just expire in October or November when the funds run out? We didn't want that to happen. So So this year, this month, our partner of the month is our Market Match program. Yeah. So all monies that we get through this donation will be sent to the food bank. They have some matching funds available, and it will come back to our co-op to continue the program as long as possible.
Okay.
So we're really pushing. I mean, we always promote our partner of the month, but I think this is kind of a crisis response to. We actually had our community fund, the co-op community fund, was supposed to be our October partner, but with this funding crisis for Market Match, we felt it was appropriate to have Market Match be our partner for this month. And so we've had some large donations, like the Littleton Farmers Market who we partnered with over the years, gave us $1,500 to this program. Incredibly generous. So we're looking for those. We'll take small, big, large, whatever, and hopefully we're going to post a link on your website or
on the social post for this show.
So we will have ways that you can donate, and you can always donate at the store level in our market, in our Partner of the Month program.
Yeah, I gave a penny last night.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I really did. Okay, so what's going to happen next year? What are you anticipating that's going to happen with this program long term?
Well, the food bank, along with us, are working on filling that funding gap.
Yeah.
I think there's so many needs. I mean, the cutbacks are hitting all sorts of different programs. Like farm programs are drying up. There's so many hidden impacts. I mean, I think everybody does want our government to be a little more responsible with how they spend their money, but cutting on education, cutting on nutrition, cutting on support for farmers. I don't know if this is the first programs I would be cutting, honestly. I mean, they might be the last programs I would be cutting. So I do, I hate to get on my soapbox here politically, but I do think it's important that we let our government know that this is not what we intended. We do want to see a more efficient government, but don't cut funding to the people that need it the most, I think, is the message that I think our government needs to hear.
I was going to ask you something. Kind of disappeared with that soapbox speech.
Well, there's lots going on at Co-op. I can just spout off about the Co-op.
I remember. Thank you for filling that space. When you were talking to me originally about market match, right?
Correct.
My question to you after everything that you explained was, why do you care about this so much? And it may have come across really cold, but I know that we latch on to things that mean something deeply personal to us. So what is it about this program, Ed, that resonates with you?
So I think if you've ever worked at a food pantry, I think that would be self-explanatory. And if you ever have a opportunity to volunteer in the community, go volunteer at a food pantry. Spend some time. They're not open long periods of time. You're just handing out food to people in need. But the people that are in need are the elderly. The people that are in need are young families. Mm-hmm. And they're coming in, and they're so appreciative because I worked in a food pantry. I volunteered in a food pantry. So when you see the people that are coming into your food pantry and they're thankful just for a can of beans or a can of tuna or whatever, that really tears at your heartstrings. We're such a lucky country to have all the resources that we do have.
Yeah.
I think that we should be taking better care of those people in need, the elderly, the children that are facing hunger every day. And people think, well, that's someplace else. That's happening someplace else. We work with 6 different local pantries that are all screaming for more resources because there is that need. People are going hungry in the North Country here, and it's not who you might think. It's your grandmother. It's your niece or nephew. I mean, it's a lot of it is hidden. It kind of happens. Some people, are ashamed. SNAP usage is very low in this region because people are proud. They don't want to they don't want to take handouts. But according to the income levels, probably only 50% of the people that are eligible for SNAP benefits are taking advantage of it. And it's such a basic program. I think, when they wrote the Bill of Rights, I do think we should have the right to healthy food. If I were to have a propose an amendment to the Constitution. Everybody should have the right to healthy food.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I'm curious, when you were a kid and you were fighting for the food on the table, in between meals, did you guys have resources in the community that were helping?
So we always had food on the table. I will say that it probably wasn't the most nutritious food in the world. I mean, we fit into that program of, we didn't have the disposable income of many people, or they were stretched thin because of 8 kids. We'll do that too.
Yep.
But I look at what we ate as kids and what I try to feed my grandkids today are very different things.
Oh, tell me. What did you eat as a kid? Oh, my
goodness. I mean, we'd have, sometimes we'd have French toast or peanut butter sandwiches for dinner. I mean, just the corn, sometimes corn on the cob was dinner. I mean, so there was some really, nutritionally lacking foods that we ate as kids. And nutrition wasn't what it is today. People are far more aware of their nutritional needs and healthy eating. I mean, the 60s and 70s were a different time for sure in so many ways. Bike helmets didn't exist. So many things have changed over the years. But we never went hungry. I will give my parents, my father working his 2 or 3 jobs and my mother working part-time when she could. We always had food on the table. So I'm always thankful for that. But I think that even more makes it heartbreaking when I do see people in need at the pantry or what have you.
Yeah.
And, so much about eating healthy is an economic decision. I mean, that's the beauty of Market Match is people with the fewest resources are able to raise their nutritional values that they're feeding their children, or if they're seniors, they can increase their nutrition, because there's so many health problems are related to nutrition. So I think investing in a program like this probably reduces healthcare costs immeasurably, because they're getting that proper nutrition. Their bodies are able to build the necessary, have the resources to live a healthy life. So I do think that there's a domino effect of having these nutritional programs in place that comes back in reducing healthcare costs probably twofold.
I think so too, but I'm sure it's impossible to track that.
So many of these things are theories, and
yes, there's so many variables too.
There are variables, and I'm sure there's been studies that have been done that will bear this out. But I just think the fact that kind of leveling the playing field, letting nutrition be a right, not an economic. So there's not economic barriers to eating healthy.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this program was meant to accomplish.
Awesome. I think about, I lived in Ecuador, and they had open markets all the time, and just how it was accessible to everybody. And it was the same. It was like a piece of fruit was 5 cents. I was there in, what year was it? Like 2002, 2003. Fruits, vegetables were like under $1. And I just think, how amazing would that be to have that like that here?
I do want to give a shout out to our farmers market, because they participate in Market Match as well. So
they do?
Yep. You can. We actually have a booth. The co-op has a booth at the farmers market in Littleton. Sadly, I think this is the last weekend, or it was the last weekend.
Okay.
But they're very on board with wanting to have their fruits and vegetables available to everybody without those economic barriers. And farmers, I mean, one of the highlights of working at the co-op is getting to meet and work with all the farmers in the region. I don't know a grumpy farmer. I mean, there's so much.
You don't know a grumpy farmer?
A grumpy farmer. They are the salt of the earth. They're great people. They work so hard for their money, for just to make ends meet. And again, a lot of these programs that allow farmers to, feed us, basically, to make it an economic, viably business, are drying up as well. So I do want to give a shout out to all the farmers and all the hard work they do to get that local produce to the co-op or CSAs or farmers markets, or their own stands. I mean, it's we're lucky to live in a area of the country where there is that resource. It's hard farming in New Hampshire. It's so difficult. I'm aware of whether it's droughts this year or floods last year.
Yeah.
I mean, they're at the mercy of climate change, and it's becoming harder and harder for them. And, a lot of the programs that were in place to help the farmers maintain their sustainability are drying up. The investments in this farm or that farm. I have examples. I won't mention farms by name, but some farms that wanted to expand and offer more of this or have a processing plant or whatever have lost funding or are having difficulty getting the funding that they were promised. It's very unfortunate. So I'm getting off my soapbox.
All right, Ed, what do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? Well, I have 5 really high-energy grandchildren. I'm not as active as I used to be. I do have a disability that I'm always coping with. But I love the arts. I'm on the board of directors of Theater Up.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's such a fun organization.
Yes.
And, they put on 4 shows a year, 4 or 5 shows. And, being part of that whole process and getting to usher at the shows. And, I'm on the finance board. I'm supposedly financially competent, apparently. But it's giving back. I mean, if you enjoy something, it's fun to volunteer in arts organizations. I love the Colonial Theater. Next weekend there's a concert. I'm going to go see concerts.
Yeah, who is it? I forget the names. I just saw it.
I don't know off the top of my head. It's kind of like a southern rock type.
Okay.
Group.
I think I saw it.
It sounds interesting. I mean, I love live music. I love all live good music, and there's so much available. Like North Country Chamber Players, we partnered with them for 17 years and had mini concerts at our co-op. They're such
at the co-op.
At the co-op,
yeah.
They do mini concerts, but to have world-class chamber music and classical music in the North Country is such a pleasure, and they're usually one of our partners of the month.
Okay.
And so all of these things, the culture, I mean, it's hard to find entertainment in the North Country, and I think being part of Theater Up, supporting all these different organizations, partnering with the Colonial, is one of those ways to help ensure that, the quality of life is important. I think we enjoy the outdoors, but I think the cultural piece is also important to be developing well-rounded people.
Definitely.
Our kids should be exposed to. Like, I went to a concert from a Ugandan musician this summer at the Colonial, which was outstanding, and he taught us about Ugandan music and the origins of these instruments he was playing. It was so rewarding to see that here in the North Country.
Yeah.
And there's, but it takes work. It takes volunteers and behind the scenes fundraising to make all this happen. The concerts at Remick Park in the summer. There's so many people working to raise the quality of life here in the North Country through cultural endeavors, whether it's music, whether it's plays, whether it's movies. So I always appreciate that, and I try to support them, and I try to attend as many of those performances as possible.
Nice. Are you going to go to their play in November? It's The Crucible, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it is. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I look forward to all their plays. I mean, just knowing the troop of people there and seeing their talents, whether it's, I mean, I like musicals and lighthearted, but sometimes there's socially relevant messages in different pieces, and those are just as important to developing that like well-rounded cultural experience. So I love everything that they do, and I'm so amazed that Andrew and the troupe there are able to put together these performances in small-town northern New Hampshire. It's incredible.
It is incredible.
And I think everyone should appreciate it, and they're doing fundraising for all the time for their organization, and we're remodeling the Masonic Temple right now, which will be a great space and have allow so much more in the teaching process. So a focus of Theater Up has been the youth in our community, that allowing them some opportunities to get really professional theater experience, whether in performances. And we do one kid performance every year, youth performance. So exposing them and having workshops and things where allow them to develop their talent. I think it's such an asset to the community to have that available. And again, it's quality of life. I mean, you don't necessarily have to live in the city to get this kind of exposure to culture.
You don't have to drive 2 hours south.
Exactly. So I'm very, not just for my sake, but for my kids' sakes and my grandkids' sake, that we support these things and make sure that they survive and thrive here in the North Country.
One thing you mentioned a while ago was that you were into hiking.
That was a long time ago, unfortunately.
Well, I want to know the extent of your hiking.
Well, I've done probably most of the Appalachian Trail in New Hampshire and Maine. Not all in one kind of piecemeal.
Yeah.
I mean, I was always working full time, and I rarely got more than a few days off at a time, and my weeks off were usually chill, recuperate type vacations.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been to the top of Katahdin. I've done, which was an exciting experience.
Did you do Knife's Edge?
All right. My story about Knife's Edge.
Oh, you have a story.
Well, it was kind of scary because we picked a nice day to go. It was warmer than we would have liked, but we got to the top of Katahdin, and our plan was to come down via the Knife's Edge. It's very exposed up there, and actually, like 2 weeks after we were there, some Cub Scouts were killed by a lightning storm. But a lightning storm was rolling in as we crested the top of Katahdin, and we wanted to get off the mountain as fast as possible, which meant we walked out the Knife's Edge, and I will say it's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I mean, I'm not afraid of heights, but I wasn't sad that we decided to ditch the Knife's Edge and go back down the
sad.
easy trail. I mean, because when you're up the top looking out over it, it's very intimidating.
Yeah.
So we walked probably 400 yards out the Knife's Edge. We saw lightning on the horizon and said, all right, we're turning around. And we took the quick way back down the mountain. So I can say I've experienced the Knife's Edge, but I didn't walk the entirety of the Knife's Edge. It's beautiful up there, I will say.
Yeah.
Baxter State Park, they only allow like 500 people a day into the park.
That's right.
And we were lucky enough to spend a week there. We did some whitewater rafting and stuff. I miss hiking terribly. Getting out, I do get out in the woods from time to time, and maybe I'll get to a waterfall. But
yeah,
I was born with spina bifida, and I've had an amputation. So these are the things that are slowing me down in my old age.
Gotcha. So that's why you have a cane.
That's why I walk with a cane. It's more about my back than the amputation.
Okay.
My my prosthetic is functions very well. I will say that. It's the rest of me that doesn't work so good. Those artificial parts are functioning well. It's the original equipment that seems to be failing me.
Yeah. So do you get, I forget the official name of it, like when you're missing part of you, do you still have that phantom
I will have
feeling?
I don't know, you ever had a Charlie horse?
Yeah.
All right. Well, imagine a Charlie horse when your leg isn't there. That's something that I feel once in a while.
Really?
Yeah, and it's not. If it happens at night, can be. You lose some sleep over it, but it doesn't happen often. I will say that.
That's so strange.
So I try and keep those electrolytes up just so I don't get my phantom Charlie horses.
Wow. That's the brain, right? Like that's
the
all
brain.
happening in the brain.
All happening in the brain, and I don't know. You get a Charlie horse, you would massage your calf or whatever. And when you don't have a calf, what do you do? I mean,
that is the most bizarre thing ever.
So that's one of the oddities of dealing with a prosthetic, yes.
Yeah.
And there's lots of people out there, I know people with health issues that it's hidden or they might not know about it. I do think as somebody that's, living life with a disability that it's important that we understand some people might be dealing with something that we're not aware of. It might be pain management. I do have days where I might be grumpier than normal, and that could be just my pain threshold is being pushed to its limit.
Yeah.
I mean, I do have a lot of issues with pain. So.
Yeah, and it's not like you can just go around in the co-op and say, "Hey, everybody! Like my pain threshold is here today."
So steer clear. No, I try and not let it impact my job performance, but there are days where, I can do most of my work in my office. I mean, my job has evolved into a very much administrative job. When we were doing $5 million a year, I was on the floor all the time. Now that we're doing $20 million a year, it's a little different, and there's a lot of admin work to be done.
Yeah. Are you content with your role at this point?
Well, since I'm retiring in 3 months, it's
3 months?
3 months. I'll be no longer be the GM.
So like January?
Yes. So I'm looking forward to semi-retirement. I will keep some irons in the fire.
Okay.
I will be active in the community, and I will still always love the Littleton Food Co-op and work with them if and when they, want me to. And there are a couple little pet projects that I probably continue to work with. Mentoring other co-ops in the region, like Caledonia Food Co-op is doing some startup work, and Androscoggin Food Co-op in Berlin is doing some startup work. And I think, and I'm biased, but I think every community should have a co-op.
I do too.
and have a market that's responsive to the people in that community is important. So, and it doesn't happen without a lot of volunteer work. And, we got a lot of help from the Hanover Food Co-op when we opened in 2009. So it's kind of like our mission is to pay it forward a little bit and help other startups in the region. So
good. So you'd be more of a consultant, maybe? Yeah,
I think dial it back, just explain to them that, all right, we tried this. It was a terrible disaster. Don't do this. I think mentoring somebody is telling them what not to do more than what to do.
Right.
Don't do this.
Heed the warnings.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so you're retiring. Is it announced who's taking your place?
It is not, but
okay.
That process is happening right now. It's likely that there might be an announcement as soon as next week, so stay tuned. I think it's exciting. I think we've narrowed it down to just a couple candidates. They're very qualified. I feel like that the co-op is in good hands long term.
Oh, good.
So there isn't that worry that everything's going to fall apart. They're not. They're going to mess it up. I do not have that feeling whatsoever. Okay.
Good.
I have strong confidence that first of all, the management team in place is stellar. So, I get in the way sometimes. I just let them do their thing. I just try and stay out of the way sometimes because we have such great people there that know their job and do it so well. But for the big picture stuff, you do need somebody to make that final decision sometimes. And the next GM, whoever our board of directors chooses, I don't get a vote in this, is going to do a great job. I'm very confident in that.
That is such a relief to hear, because I know some people that are looking at retirement are worried because they don't see anyone that can do it as good as they can.
Well, I don't feel that at all. I think that I get a lot of credit for things that my management team does. They're very qualified, and I won't say it runs itself, but pretty close. So whoever gets the job is going to be a very lucky person to...
Sounds like it.
To be in what I think is a fantastic store with great people and a great community supporting it.
Yeah. You've built something really wonderful with the team.
With the team, exactly.
Yeah. What are you going to do with your free time, Ed?
Well, I don't have a lot of free time now, and I don't imagine I'll have a lot of free time in the future. I look forward to some R&R, quite honestly. I'd love to see some more of the country. I'd love to get out west, and I'd love to get to... So, my ancestry is in Portugal and Ireland. I'd love to make pilgrimages to those countries at some point. So there's lots of... The bucket list is pretty deep. I mean...
You better get started. You better book your flights now.
I'm not booking anything yet.
Okay.
But maybe next summer we'll do some traveling. But I'm looking forward to it. I am building a house, so a retirement house. So
wow.
A little smaller, a little one level, just to accommodate my challenges, and so that's exciting.
Good. Lots of exciting things on the horizon,
Lots of
Ed.
fun things, and I hope to get to more of my grandkids' games and stuff like that. The soccer games and the baseball games and the basketball games.
All of the games.
All of the games. They're very... my granddaughters are going to be superstar athletes, and a couple of my grandsons have the potential too. So.
Yeah. Are they here in Littleton?
No, they're kind of scattered around New Hampshire.
Okay.
So it is an effort to get to see some of these games, but I'll have the free time to do that.
You will. You'll have a reason to get out.
Exactly.
Well, Ed.
Oh my gosh.
Can you believe it?
No way. It's almost that time.
Can you believe it? It just goes by so fast.
Well, you must do a good job of cramming 2 hours worth of stuff into
I just bring on guests that are talkative.
Well, you're a good interview. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I talked about what I wanted to talk about today.
Did you?
I mean, I care a lot about the co-op. Even though I'm retiring, there's missions. Our mission is to, focused on nutrition, focused on the community, and I look, even though I'm retiring, I fully intend to support their mission going forward. I think the community is supportive of all the programs that we've instituted over time, but we are kind of at one of those important times where we're not a nonprofit. We don't ask for money very often. We do ask for people to donate to different community functions, our nonprofits who are partner of the month. But this is an important time. This program has real impact on the nutrition of the people most in need in our community. So Market Match, our partner of the month this month, is very important. I do ask that people support it to the best of their ability. It's so worthwhile, and I'm proud of all the assistance that we've been able to provide the parts of our community that need it most.
Well said. Thank you for sharing that opportunity for people to come together and help.
I think Littleton is a very cooperative community, and there's so many nonprofits so active in the community.
So many.
It's like this building is filled with nonprofit entities,
yes.
And but I think it's what makes Littleton the special community it is.
Yeah, I've never heard someone say that, but I think that that's definitely part of it.
It certainly is. I mean, we have a vibrant Main Street, but there's Main Street Littleton, an organization that kind of made that happen in the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah,
there's so much behind the scenes stuff that helped the quality of life in Littleton that is an important piece of the puzzle.
And that's why I have my show, because everything's so hidden up here, and I want it to not be hidden.
You want to shine a light on it.
I do.
Excellent.
So thank you for being in the light today, Ed.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We're at the top of the hour, WZNC LP Bethlehem. You're listening to North Country Community Radio, 99.9 FM, streaming online at nococommunityradio.org. This has been North of Normal with Amanda McKeen and Ed King. And tune in next week for another special guest who I don't remember right now. Have a great day, guys.